Hello, everybody. Welcome back with another video. I'm going to be doing a short election prediction for 2028 between California Governor Gavin Newsom and the current Vice President J.D. Vance. Um, Relative to the Democrats, it is looking like it's going to be an open primary in 2028. Of course, the Vice President Kamala Harris may choose to run again. Um, obviously that has been something that seems to be likely. However, there are a whole range of candidates like Governor Newsom, like Governor Whitmer in Michigan, like Governor Walz in Minnesota, Governor Shapiro in Pennsylvania, Wes Moore, Governor Moore in Maryland. Um, Alyssa Slotkin is a rising star among the Democrats. A lot of people who have floated the idea of running for president in 2028. On the Republican side, J.D. Vance, the incumbent vice president, Donald Trump's handpicked successor. While there has been a lot of what people would say debate and conversation regarding whether or not he's going to be the immediate successor and nominee in 2028, people floated names like Marco Rubio, Ron DeSantis, Pete Hegseth, even Tulsi Gabbard, or not Tulsi Gabbard, Kristi Noem. A lot of people Trump's picked in his cabinet. However, at the end of the day, Vance is by far a top contender to be the Republican nominee. He's the incumbent vice president, as we said, very articulate, and of course, is certainly up there and probably the front runner at the moment to be the nominee. With that being said, let's get into our safe Newsom states. I think that, and we obviously don't know what the situation in this country will look like in 4 years, but 2024, if Donald Trump has a successful presidency, and not New Hampshire, the what we have seen so far from the polls and from Americans' approval of Trump's presidency is started off strong. And if it is a strong presidency, Vance is in a very good position to be Donald Trump's successor and win and continue Republican leadership for another 4 years in this country. I think Vance will win his home state of Iowa and Ohio, as well as Maine's 2nd congressional district by a safe margin. Trump has really exacerbated the trends in those areas of the country. And I think come 2028, somebody like Gavin Newsom, who's from California, is going to have a hard time appealing to Midwesterners and some people in the Northeast as well. I don't think Gavin Newsom is going to be as good of a candidate as many people had initially expected. I think that his wing in the Democrat Party is waning. The AOC wing in the Democrat Party is growing, as you saw from Zohar Mamdani's win in the New York City mayoral primary. Newsom, in my opinion, represents more of the establishment wing of the party, the Biden, I guess what you would say, Obama, Bill Clinton wing, as opposed to this rising socialist wing that was initially headed by Bernie Sanders. Now, AOC carries a lot of that mantle, but a lot of Democrats, young Democrats in this country, identifying as socialists. Newsom does not represent that. So I do think he'd have a hard time uh, bringing that base together. The Republican caucus, of course, a bit divided as well. However, at the end of the day, I do think whoever Trump picks is going to be, or Trump endorses, is going to have the large support of the party. Democrats, on the other hand, don't have a clear party leader. Maine at large, I think Gavin Newsom would win by a likely margin. Um, I'm going to leave that as it for the likely states for the Democrats. I do think it's going to be the rest of them are going to become a little bit closer. Texas, a likely state. Florida, a likely state for J.D. Vance. Gets him to 219 electoral votes. Lean margins, Nebraska second. Democrats have been doing well there, as well as New Hampshire. At the end of the day, the state of Virginia, the state of New Mexico, Republicans have been doing a lot better among the Hispanic community in this country. I think at the end of the day, Vance will win. Um, the majority of Hispanic men, as Trump did, and maybe even the majority outright of Hispanics, depending on whether or not he has a successful presidency, as I said at the outset. I think due to these trends, Vance wins Nevada and Arizona by lean margins, as well as the state of Georgia. That gets him within 20 electoral votes of becoming the next president of the United States. The rest of this, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin, and Minnesota. Minnesota, which has gone Democratic since the last time it went Republican was when Richard Nixon did a 49 state sweep, I believe in 1972. And It has not gone Republican since then. I don't think it will go Republican. I think Gavin Newsom will narrowly tilt it. But I do think that goes with saying that Minnesota is a state that if the right Republican campaigns and the right Republican runs, that it could shift to the Republican category. However, in a hypothetical Vance versus Newsom matchup, at this point in time, I do see the same reflection in the electoral count and in the statewide race victories as Trump beating Kamala Harris. Democrats are going to have to really change a lot of their uh, approval across the country and unification in the party if they're really going to be in a positive position to win in 2028 at this point in time. Of course, a lot can happen in about 3 years. With that being said, thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel, comment below your thoughts on this prediction, and have a great day.